basic things you need to know about setting up a website. There's something called a domain name, and there's something called a hosting. So a domain name is like a house address. It's like probably someone asks you for an address, like I want to visit you by weekend. How would you describe your house? And you just typed in your address to the person. So that's like the domain name of a website. I don't know how best to explain this, but I've sent something earlier on that I mean the pre-classes that we're supposed to have watched. So if we have watched those things, these words will not sound strange to us. So the domain name is like a house address. Probably someone wants to visit you, you send the person your address. And now when we now talk about a hosting is like the place where the house is built, like the physical place. So for someone to connect, for someone to get to your house, the person needs to have the address. But if the address is a virtual address, if the address does not exist, if you give the person a wrong address, it means the person will not be able to locate your house. So the place where the house is located itself physically is what we can call is what we can liken our hosting to. So hosting is a place where you host your website, or where your website resides. Let me put it like that. But domain name is like is like the link to your website. It's a link actually. So through domain name, people can access your website, and the only way people can access your website is just by your domain name and your domain name alone. And when we talk about what's it called, installing WordPress, I have made a video on installing WordPress. I'm going to share with us, and I'm also going to. That's where we're going to start tomorrow. So I won't be jumping ahead of myself because today is just an introductory class, and that's why we are brushing through all of this like this. From tomorrow, we are starting our practical sessions. So I want you to get your laptops ready, get your internet ready, and get yourselves ready too, because it's going to be a little bit of push for us. So today is just going to be a theoretical class. By tomorrow, we are starting our practical sessions. So, you know, uh, most hosting providers will give you the step by step on how to install your WordPress. But for the sake of this class, you will have to install WordPress by yourself, because if you have to pay for hosting and domain, I know that's going to discourage some set of people, and I don't want us to go through that stress. So I've found a way which you will use to get your free hosting. So we are going to be developing our website or designing our website on a free hosting, and that's going to the whole process is going to be the major thing we'll be running through tomorrow, and just a few more things. So I'll show you how to install your WordPress on the free hosting. I'll show you how to do some more practical things. But I also want you to make a suggestion between now and tomorrow, or let me say immediately after the end of this class. I want you to you can just share an idea of the kind of website you want us to design for the sake of this class. So if you have an idea of the kind of website you want us to design, you can send it to the Telegram group, or the WhatsApp group. So if you have something you like us to design, probably you have a business, you want us to design a website for your business. Probably you have something you wanted to learn, or something you wanted to know how they do, and you don't know it, and you want us to treat it in this class. Kindly go ahead and share on the Telegram group or on the WhatsApp group. You can also share in the comment section if you have an idea already. But I want you to also know that in the class, you are going to be designing alongside with me. So it's not as if I'll be doing it and you'll be looking at me, and at the end of the day, something might fly away. No, we are doing this whole thing together. We are doing this whole thing together. So you'll be starting your website designing journey from tomorrow, and you'll be designing alongside with me. Whatever I do, whatever you see me do, you're going to be doing it too. So a few things to note about website designing. In that video I sent, I told you there's a dashboard. I told you there is a post. I told you there are pages. I told you, okay, now on the WordPress dashboard, there's a post part, there's a pages part, there's media. In the media aspect of the WordPress dashboard, That's where you import your images. That's where you pick your images from whenever you want to use them. So it's more like somewhere you store your media files, your images, your videos, your GIFs, your PDFs, whatever it is. You can store them in the media part of the dashboard. So whenever you want to use them, that's where you go to. It's just like the gallery of your mobile phone or your computer. So it's still like the same thing. It serves as the same thing. You want to imagine that you want to post your own photograph on on your WhatsApp status or somewhere else. What you does is go to your WhatsApp and click on status and just say you want to post a status. It will redirect it to your file manager where you pick your photograph, or your gallery where you pick your photograph. That's what the media part of the dashboard does on WordPress too. So probably you want to pick an image while you are designing. Once you just pick on once you click on select image, it will take you to the media where you can pick some of those images you have stored on the website. So appearance, at the appearance section, you can, that's where you have access to your themes, your menus, your widgets. A lot of things are under the appearance depending on how much you've installed on the website. So that's where you can do a lot of customizations, things you have to play around, or things you can play around to just make sure that your website looks good. So under appearance, we have themes, we have menus, widgets, and a few other things. There are so many things under appearance actually. We have I think we have theme editor there too, and there are so much more things there to learn and that you'll be seeing. So we have plugins. If you have gone through the videos I sent a video on plugins you have to take note of. So what plugins does is that it helps to add extra functionality to your website to still prevent you from using coding or learning coding. So with plugins, there are so many things you can achieve. You can achieve. And that's why we use plugin actually. If there's anything you want to achieve on WordPress, what you need to do is find a plugin that can help you achieve that. You have to find a plugin that can help you achieve that. So that's that about plugins. And there's also settings on the WordPress dashboard or on the side panel. So on settings, you can do basic configurations. You can, like when we get to the practical sessions, you are going to see so many of those things. And I may also find some of these examples before the end of the class, depending on how much time we have left. So that's that about settings. That's where we have the permalinks, the tagline. And before you go live, there are a lot of settings you also have to do, like what's it called? You have to set your website display image, display name. You have to reconfigure your what's it called? Your domain name, your hyperlink, something like that. Those things you also have to take note of those things too. And the next is themes customization. You know, you have to choose a good theme depending on what you want to do. If you want to build a blog, you have to choose a theme that is good for building blogs. If you want to build a business website, probably an e-commerce website, a store, you have to choose a theme that is good for building a store. So whatever theme you're going to be using, is solely dependent on what you want to achieve. So if you want to build a portfolio website and you go and look for a blog theme or an e-commerce theme, I don't think it's a good advice. It's going to stress you. You may eventually achieve what you want to achieve, but it's going to stress you. So it's better for you to choose a theme that is compatible with what you want to achieve, or a theme that is in tune with what you want to achieve. So that's that about theme for now. And you know, customizing your theme or to be able to access your theme on the dashboard, we're going to discuss that in our next class so that I don't jump ahead of myself. Then we have creating essential pages. You know, I told you earlier that we have blog and we have pages. There are pages and there are posts. So what pages does is like how can I explain this? What pages does is okay. Let me make it this way. When you were in school, there are some textbooks that you use that you can pass to your younger ones, probably like mathematics textbook, English textbook. You can 10 generations can use those textbooks. Uh, then people that did sciences, if you used Ababio, chemistry, Ayakoa, all those textbooks that are really popular in Nigeria like that. If you use it, you can pass to the next generations and they're still going to use. But if you can remember very well, you remember that there are some literatures that you read then that you cannot share with someone else because probably you are you are doing history and you are studying some literatures. You cannot pass your literatures. And another thing is a newspaper. The newspaper for today is different from the one for tomorrow. And that's what a blog does. You would have heard about blogging before, you've heard about bloggers before. So there is something called blog. So what blog does is blog has what's it called? Blog has a kind of or it's a kind of interface where you post regularly. And whenever you post the new ones, the old ones would have gone down or disappeared depending on how many posts you make. Let me also liken it to a time where newspaper companies do disburse or dispatch newspapers to organizations. Take for instance, you have an office and you subscribe to a newspaper firm. They would deliver new papers to you every morning. Or if you're a big guy then and you can afford subscription to newspaper companies, they will always send you new ones every morning. They will send you new ones every morning to make sure that you are up to date, you are getting the latest news. And that's what a blog is like. But when we talk about pages, okay, let me also use another example for blog. If you have seen a billboard before, when you subscribe for a billboard, they will only display your information for a limited amount of time. But when it comes to a page. I'm likening a blog to a billboard now because information on a billboard is not permanent and it's going to change over time. So if you subscribe to a billboard, your information is going to change. If you have an information on a billboard, it's going to change over time. And that's what a blog is like. But when we talk about website pages, it's more like a textbook, or let me say like a textbook. Probably a textbook is written and the writer produces or produced 100 copies. Everything in the other 100 copies of those textbooks are the same, and for the next 10 years they are still the same. And most times the information, except there is a technological shift in that textbook, will still be the same as the one in other textbooks that are covering the same set of information. So when we talk about website page now, website page is like an inscription on your clothes, on your shirt. It won't change. It may fade, but it won't change except you go and erase it probably, and that's going to be stressful. You don't even want to do that. You don't even want to do that. So it's like something that is permanent. So if you look at the top of this my page, I don't know if you are seeing this. You see we have something like home, project, about me, and contact. That's what website pages look like. This particular page that you are looking at right now, it looks like this is what a website page looks like. This is what a website page looks like. So if I did not change these informations, it will be like that till forever. But when we talk about blog, the essence of blog is that the information changes. Because I don't want to go to a blog today, read something, especially for some of us that like, let me not say some of us, for some of you that like gists. So you don't want to read the same gist over and over again. So if you see anybody that posts on a website, that posts gist on a website, often and often, or time and time again, it's because they want to give you new information every now and then. And that's one of the function of a blog. So it's important for you to know the difference between pages and blogs. And when we talk about websites that have pages, we also have e-commerce websites. and that's the one that covers for stores. Probably you want to sell something, you want you have products you want to sell, and you're looking for a way to sell them. One of the places you can sell them is getting a store, getting yourself a store, a store that has e-commerce functionality. So with that, you'll be able to sell your products on a website. I'm going to say this again. If you know there is a kind of website you want us to design, there's a particular thing you want us to work on, please don't forget to drop either in the comment section, or, or drop it on the groups, probably on the WhatsApp group or on the Telegram group. We're going to work on them as soon as possible, because I just want us to communicate. I want to know what you want us to achieve. It's not just about me telling you this is what we want to do and that's what we are doing. No, I want you to be able to tell us this is what you want us to do. So if you have an idea, there's something you want us to design, please let me know. And then there is another thing that we also have to consider, which is the plugins. I'll repeat myself. I sent you some things about plugins, and I thought I want to assume that you've gone through it, but we are still going to touch it briefly as we proceed in our classes. So plugins are tools that add functionality to your website. I've said that before, without coding. The WordPress plugin directory has thousands of plugins for different purposes. And we also add this, that when we are designing websites with our plugins, I want you to take note of where you're getting your plugins from, because you can also get what's it called, your website infected. Let me use that word, infected, or you could get your website hacked by the choice of plugin you make. So if you go and get a plugin from untrusted sources, or sources that are not trusted, I don't know if the word untrusted exists, but if you get your word or your plugin from websites that are not trusted, you could expose your website to hackers, and they'll just take over your website and use it for whatever they want. So it's essential that we get our plugins from trusted sources. It's going to help us a lot. It's going to save you a lot of issues while you're working on your website. So if you want to install your plugins, I'm going to take us through that tomorrow. This is just a theory aspect of it. You go to plugins, add new, you search for the plugin, you install the plugin, you activate the plugin, and there are some plugins that you have to do extra settings before they can achieve, or before you be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve with them. So important plugins, there is one plugin, SEO. SEO is search engine optimization. For those that have gone through the videos I sent, you would have seen it. SEO is search engine optimization, and what it does is that it gives your website visibility. So everybody wants their project to be visible. Everybody wants their website to be visible, and that is why SEO is very important and essential. So another thing is the contact form plugins. So when we talk about contact form, you know that on so many occasions, you want to get your visitors' information and what they register through. Probably if you have gone through a website and you have to submit your information, wherever you submit your information on that website is built with a contact form. So if you want to achieve a website where you take people information, where people submit informations, or probably where you shall want to get people's contact, you have to use contact form. And in so many occasions, we deal with that. We use that a lot. And this is another essential plugin. So another thing is the security plugin. You know, another thing you have to really take note of while working on a website is the security of that website. You have to take note of the security of that website, because anybody can just lay hold of your website, hack you, and just do whatever they like with your website. And I don't think anybody wants their website to be gone just like that. So you have to also take note of the security of your website. And another thing I want you to take note of is that You want to design a website, I know, but you also have to make sure that you're designing something presentable that whenever you see it or whenever it's being shown to someone, you'll be able to say, yes, I designed this website, I did this project. You won't get there in a day, but that should be the goal. I remember there was a time when I was going through websites that I designed when I just started learning. Let me say websites that I designed, let me say like 4 years ago. If I'm going through those websites now, I'll just be like, wow, I think I should just tell these people I want to redesign their websites for them. You won't get there in a day. I said that earlier. But I want you to always take note of the fact that don't remain at that beginner stage. That beginner stage is always very sweet because probably you are just practicing. It's not as if someone is paying you. But the moment someone is paying you to design a website for them or to do a project for them, it's very essential that you do something that is worth it, that is worth the money, something that is worth the money. So make sure that they get something good.